many cars or many clubs or everything that you want, you can grab it easily at that moment.
Yes.
So, how is life back then?
And plus, you know, growing up in an Italian family with the stigmata, with the, you know, the ideology of mafia and all the rest. So that's really true. Those movies.
It's not in. I thought it was only in the movie, like
no.
Godfather and shit like that.
No. They got those stories from real life. See, the mafia exists. No, don't make no mistake about it. They still run the world. There is the Drangheta, which is Calabrese. You got the Camorra from Napoli, and then you got the Sicilian.
It's still now.
Oh yeah.
In Italy or outside Italy as well.
Well, you got the Mexican cartels, you got the South American cartels, the cartels, and then you got the mafia.
Yeah.
Mafia originated from Sicily, so you couldn't be in the mafia unless you had Sicilian blood.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, teman-teman semua. Bersama kita sudah ada orang tersebut yang barusan kita lihat sama-sama. Ini dia, Vince Focarelli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So, this is first time for you in Indonesia?
Yes, first time.
How's it for you?
Alhamdulillah, fantastic. To be honest with you, I've really been taken by your warmth, by your culture. You guys are really in touch with your emotions, as I am, as you've witnessed. But I'm very happy here. Yeah, very good. I'm with the wife, of course, as you know. She's been here 4 times in the past.
In Indonesia?
Yeah, through her work and things like that. So she's more accustomed to it. But for me, from the very beginning of the plane, beautiful, everything good.
Before, and then on the intro, there's the news. What happened to you in the past 11 years ago, and then what happened, and make you turn to a different man. So before we go on, you were in the top level of what do you call it? Dunya. I mean, the top level of
Jahiliya, yeah.
I mean, you can have everything. You can, what people that are probably living in this world, in this dunya, want to have that privilege in life. You have many cars or many clubs or everything that you want, you can grab it easily at that moment.
Yes.
So, how is life back then?
Look, if we're gonna be honest with our viewers, that life is very alluring. It's very bling bling, and as you know, the one of the shaitan's advocate is money. You know.
Yeah.
So we this is fair income. At the end of the day, this is like the movies or more. Because when we went to nightclubs, we'd never have to wait. They knew who we were, they knew who I was and who my crew was, and who I was with when I was becoming my own person, of course, which crew I hang around with, were the main sources of crews, the main ones, you know, the ones that pretty much had a stronghold in our areas, especially the city. So when it came to the nightclubs, there was no waiting in line. And the lines, just as you know, nightclubs are very, very long, and you have to show ID and things like that. And there's a metal detector. Yeah. We were carrying guns. So the owner would know that we're coming, so we wouldn't go through the metal detector. As soon as we came in, you know, while everyone was going through the metal detector, we went to the side. So it was that life. It was very alluring. And because, you know, I wasn't a Muslim. I grew up as a Roman Catholic, Christian. And my culture, growing up, was very simple to understand. When you're a mafia or a gangster, you know, you can do all the gangster things, which we say is haram now. And then you go to church and speak to the priest. He'll say, do 15 Hail Marys and all this, put some money in the box and go back out, and you're on the phone selling drugs. Oh, yeah. So you had
your sins already forgiven.
Yeah. So well, that's what they made us believe, right? So that was the Christian. And if the Christians get a little bit offended by this, I ask them not to. They understand what I'm saying to you. For the Roman Catholics, for the Italians, we got big mafia bosses that get given the awards of the cross in churches and things like that. So we've been told that we can live the best of both worlds. Sin and be forgiven. Yeah. Sin and be forgiven.
You can buy your sin.
You can buy the sin. Yeah. Well, now, yeah, that's exactly how you can describe it. And that's how it was for us. And plus, you know, growing up in an Italian family with the stigmata, with the, you know, the ideology of mafia and all the rest. So that's really true. Those movies.
Isn't that it? I thought it was only in the movie, like
No.
Godfather and shit like that.
No. They got those stories from real life. See, the mafia exists. No, don't make no mistake about it. They still run the world. There is the Drangheta, which is Calabrese. You got the Camorra from Napoli, and then you got the Sicilian.
It's still now.
Oh yeah. At the moment, the stronghold is the Camorra, which is the Calabrian mafia. The Sicilian mafia have not stepped back, but the Calabrian mafia have taken its rise. It's in control of things. Yeah. From what we understand, yeah.
Whoa. I thought that was the only the drama or the scenario in the movies.
No. But you know, there's mafia, there is gangsters, there's mobsters. There's different.
It's only in Italy or outside Italy as well.
Well, you got the Mexican cartels, you got the South American cartels, the cartels, and then you got the mafia. Yeah. Mafia originated from Sicily, so you couldn't be in the mafia unless you had Sicilian blood.
Oh, it was like Jews. It's not religion. It's inheritance.
For example, Al Capone, right? I'll tell you a quick story. Al Capone was vicious, and one of the most.
It was like a pharaoh of the
of Chicago.
Of Chicago,
without any doubt, and nobody got involved with him. In fact, the mafia wanted him in because he has so much power in Chicago. Because the mafia puts his own people in every state of America, and then you got the reigning one that controls everything. But Al Capone couldn't move him, and they tried to track his bloodline back. Even hundreds of years, just to see if there's any dot of Sicilian in there. They couldn't find him. So he was never indoctrinated into the mafia. I don't know if you knew that. Everyone thought he was a part of the mafia. Yeah. He was his own mafia. He had his own crew in Chicago, and Chicago was his. But they can never indoctrinate him, for what we understand the story, put him in the mafia. So these things still exist, no problem.
Well, even in United States as well.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Canada, there's no problem. They're always there, alhamdulillah.
So it means that when you are in Australia, it means that mafia is because
there is. There's the Drangheta in Australia, no problem at all. They're very quiet, the Italians. They do things on a down low. That's how they've been. That's the attitude of the Italians. I don't blame them. That's because you don't want to be shown to do things because then you got the government on your back. Having said that, for me, I grew up in a very Italian culture in that sort of area. When I used to watch movies, I wanted to be a gangster, because it's the mafia.
It runs in the family.
Yeah, there are mafios in the family, no problem. And in the Italian, when you watch the movies, the mafia is feared. The mafia is like looked upon in a big way. So as a kid, being Italian, you're proud.
Like a mindset being planted in your.
Of course, it's in our DNA. And being a mafia and an Italian. From a little kid, you walk around with little gold chains and be a little gangster. It's just you feel proud to be that.
So it's the narration that being planted to the kids. So it's like in Turkish that look at the Muhammad Al-Fatih and things like that. Everybody wants to be a leader.
Of course. Yeah.
Oh,
but for us, it was that. Yeah, for me as a kid, because I was Italian, and look, the ideology of the Italians, we're leaders in restaurants, food. Cars, Ferraris, bikes, Ducatis, artwork, as you know, all over the world. There are things that we ruled the world for 800 years, the Romans and things like that. So this being proud, at that point, the Italians are everything. And when the Italians, the mafia was looked upon in a great way, not in a bad way, in our communities, in our families, because a lot of the families are doing things, sort of thing. And people feared the mafia. So that's another big deal that we felt proud of. Of course, I never knew about Islam at that time, so I embraced that since I was 12, 13, 14, hitting gangs on the streets. And that's where my life started. I think from being Italian and watching the movies and being connected to that, I wanted to be that. I wanted
to be part of that.
Yes, absolutely. So, of course, yeah. Free money, free cars, women, gold chains, other things. And the one big thing for me was when I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
Nightclubs, you have to be 18 years and over.
And you're still 14?
I was 14. I was allowed into the, excuse me that I say this, I don't want to bring up the sins. I just, in adult industries, 14. Imagine walking into the place and the madam says, Vince, come in, I don't know, they're connected to me for some reason. one of the madams called me her little gentleman, you know, because we had this culture, the Italians, nightclubs, everywhere on the street, on the main street of High Street in Adelaide. So I started at 14 being respected and being, you know, okay to come in. Now, if the police walked in, they would have shut that place down. But there were security around me, so if there was, they said, Vince, make sure you go at the back if the police come. So there was already something planned.
Set
up, so I can go in there, you know what I mean? And that was at 14, imagine, 15.
You're like Ali bin Abi Talib, if Mafian fashion. Starting from 14.
Yeah, but, you know, and it hit off, and I hit off with the mafia figures, gangsters, Lebanese communities, some Italians. My connection more was with the Lebanese communities and families.
In Australia?
Yeah, of the Christian faith, not the Muslims. There was some Muslims I didn't realize, but yeah, I grew up with them, being around them, watching them, respecting them, wanting to be them, protecting them as well with my life. At one point, I became a personal bodyguard. To a boss, a Lebanese boss, that he had his own thing going on. Everybody feared him. He was a very feared man. But I did protect him with the intentions of my life first. No ifs, no buts. I took on that role strongly and with conviction. And one thing I can say, whether it was anything of greatness, but at that time I'm proud of myself to have achieved something that my word, I took it on as that job the way it should be. I carried the gun everywhere I went, where he was.
Since 14?
14, 15, 16, all the time, yeah. Especially when I was at an older age, when I was protecting the boss himself. But he was best man at my wedding. We were very good friends. So it wasn't just a job for me, it was personal. To look after him and to protect him and to love and respect him in the way that, you know, I gave it all, you know, and they know that. And so I'm proud of myself, not doing the wrong thing, but at least my character was intact, you know.
Wow, inshallah. So you're really, I mean, your lifeline is not in Australia or in Italy or in Lebanese people. So it is in the same circle.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what is, I mean, if I saw in the movie the mafia having the war with another mafia, what is the war about?
That's real. That stuff is real.
It is about the place of
turf, the area. Yeah, this is not a this is
our business.
This is a reality. Yeah, this is no issue at all. Like it's happened to me. Like I said, I've been shot over 5 different occasions. The last one was 4 bullets hit me, and of course I lost my stepson in my arms. That was the last of it. But the reality of living that life, I keep telling people, when I wasn't a Muslim, I was giving dawah to the gangsters. It's called gangster dawah, I guess. I'm not sure. Astaghfirullah. It wasn't dawah of Christianity or dawah of Islam. I wasn't a Muslim. I said to them, if you're going to go into this life, you go with 2 feet in. Not 1 foot here, 1 foot there, because you'll get killed or get the person next to you killed. If you're going to go into that life, you have to make a decision. You got 2 choices. If you're going to go into that life, then you have to be prepared to be killed and die. You have to be prepared to kill them, to shoot at them and kill them. And you also have to be prepared to do 30 years to life in prison if you get caught killing him. Not to mention selling drugs and doing 20 years. So this, it might look great and bling bling with the chain. Everybody wants to be a gangster, my brother, right? Until they have to do gangster things. So when it's time to do gangster things, there's only a small minority that are prepared to go all the way and do those things. Yeah, you know. So I believe I was one of them. I think that without acting arrogantly, and Allah forgive me, not to boast, I think I served that purpose and you know, the way it should have been. I know that for myself, so I have no regrets. I'm ashamed of some things, but I have no regrets of my life in that area because of 2 reasons. One, Allah was molding me, I believe, to the person I am. And secondly, at least you knew you had character, you know. You weren't a man that was that talk and didn't walk. I fulfill that and I saw some bad things. You have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to do 30 years to life. I did 11 and a half years of my life in prison because of that life.
Oh.
I never, not once, whinged in jail or in prison or cried. I want to get out, nothing. I did it. Then I got out, knowing that now when I get out, I'm going to take over. I don't need anyone. I don't need any Lebanese gangsters. I'm on my own person now. I'm going to come out and be my own boss. I've got the reputation. They know that I'll go to war. I had these thoughts, you know. I said, well, you can do your own thing. You know, you've given everything to them. Some don't appreciate it. It wasn't returned in some way. So when I got out, I, you know, tried to take over the city. That was the goal, to take over the city and the main strip. Yeah. And try to be in charge of that.
So you are in becoming the head of the state, one state in the story.